Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Rad Gaming Podcast. I'm Jemshi.
And I'm Pescador. And in this episode of the podcast, we take a cannonball into the Steam Summer Sale and go over what our favorite things are in their list of sales this month. We also talk about streaming services and our thoughts on how they should market them. And we also give our initial thoughts of Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Cento Fiore. Cento Fiore is a lifestyle fashion brand that sees beauty and cultural heritage and always strives to offer timeless and elegant style. Visit cento-fiore.com to join the family. That's cento-fiori.com. And also, the Rad Gaming Podcast is part of Big Heads Media. All right, now on to the podcast. I want to jump in. So, the Steam Summer Sale, do you have any games that you're planning on buying?
I actually want to buy one game, and that's my friend Pedro. I can't even speak, but that game looks really interesting to me. I like this kind of shoot-up games. I don't know if you've ever seen my friend Pedro.
No,
have you?
I feel like I've heard the name, but I'm probably confusing it with the Life of Pablo album by Kanye West, but that's what I was thinking.
No, that's not the same. No, my friend Pedro is like a 2D platform game that he's like it incorporates parkour into like a shooting game.
Oh, that's tight. So
basically you like break through windows and you like spin around. You can like slow down time and just like shoot up the entire area that you're in. It's really cool. It looks really interesting because you can like I guess run on top of a barrel and start shooting people, and then it's really hard to explain. It sounds ridiculous, but
you're very interactive with the environment. I guess is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
you said you can walk.
You can
the barrels. It's parkour. Like it's instead of just kind of like hopping up and down, you can kind of like interact with a little bit more with the environment.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds.
So
like.
The way it's set up is you see into like the building, like 2D platformers do, and then you kind of like break through windows and like kind of plan out your attack so you can see them like I don't know what or who you're fighting, but you can see the bad individuals like sitting up or how they're set up in the building, and you break into the building and then kind of just like plan it out and shoot people and slow down time so like you can plan your next attack or like move quickly so you don't get shot. It's pretty neat. I mean, I think it looks pretty cool.
Like
but
the Matrix.
It got really good.
Just in the fact that you kind of slow down.
Did you ever play that? Yeah, did you ever play that? What was that old school game, like the Matrix game that was on Newgrounds? You ever play that game?
Maybe. I feel like it's been so long since I've been on Newgrounds that you could say I've probably played them all.
Oh man, yeah. Well, no, it's so what it is you're like Neo in the Matrix, and like they put you against like Agent Smiths, and like I think you can put like quite a few, and you can like fist fight them or then switch to guns. And if they switch to guns on you, like if they get distance, they'll like the AI will switch the guns on like automatically and start shooting at you, and you could slow down time and then like do flips and stuff and then shoot that. It was really fun, and it was like a 2D-ish game, and it was really fun. But that's kind of like the same concept in my mind, but. I don't know. Are you gonna buy anything?
I've been thinking about it. I did want to get possibly the Dragon Ball Z fighter game. I can't remember the name. Ooh. I just wanted to try out a new fighter because I that's the kind of games that I like playing. Just kind of like games that involve. I mean, I guess every game involves strategy somewhat, but I think for me it's like that kind of like that real time strategy, one-on-one combos and like stuff like that. I wanted to try to get back into it, and it was on sale. For like 50% off or something like that, or 75% off, I think it was. So I was like, I might look into it. So I actually already have it. So
wait, what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna actually.
Yeah, I bought it literally just as we were talking. No, but I bought it before the podcast.
Okay. Oh yeah, I might actually buy it then. I stink at fighting games. Like I'm really terrible at them because I'm the kind of person that just is impatient on learning things. So like I'll be like, all right, I'll figure it out as I go. So like I'll just hop into the game and you'll just annihilate me because you know the moves and you'll study like the best combo to do, and I will just be like, I'll figure it out eventually.
So I think like the phases with fighting games, it always starts out with first it's button mash, and then you figure out, okay, there's character, and then you kind of like play the same character and you button mash, and then you go, well, maybe I start learning the combos. So then you start being like a combo mash where you just do the same combo over and over again with the same character, And then after a while, you move into, let me find all the characters I can combo mash with. And then you have like a good repertoire of like all these characters you can play. And then that's whenever you start kind of like, I guess the last phase where you start kind of like, okay, I want to actually like be strategic with what combos I use. And that's the part like of like, I guess that phase that I really enjoy, where like you find people who are on that level and you can start actually like, you know, being more than just like a button mech. Cause like sometimes it's like annoying when you play fighting games with people who haven't played. That's the one thing I think I don't like about fighting games, is if it doesn't feel fun for me when I play with someone who hasn't played before, because they're trying to figure like there's too many combos and there's too many things going on. It's not like Smash Bros where like they can pick up an item and instantly come back, you know, pick up a hammer, smash me off stage or something like that. So I find that like the skill, you know, barrier to entry is like really hard to get up there to, you know, play on the level of somebody like, oh yeah, let's just sit down and play. If you both don't know how to play the game, it's going to be fun. But, you know, so that's kind of how I want it to be. So I actually would, if you buy it, you don't have to, but if you get it, we should probably just definitely sit down and play it for the first time, where I don't know the combos, but I'll like, you know, like for me, like it's just like the strategy in that. But I want to try to play it without it, be the newbie for once, and try to play someone else.
I don't recommend it because it's just frustrating when you play someone that actually does know the game. Like I played Smash Bros for the first time, and I got annihilated because my friend knew all the buttons and knew all the characters. And when I picked a certain character, he's like, "Oh, I'll go this character because it counteracts your character." Like basically saying like Fox and Samus. Like I was Samus. He's like, "Oh, I can reflect, you know, if I'm Fox, so I will be Fox." And then he would just annihilate me because I didn't like just the capabilities that he had. Like he would just like I would shoot my giant ball of doom at him, and then he would just reflect it, and I'd get blown off stage.
Yeah, I think that's also a little, for me, I guess if I were to play, I would give myself some kind of handicap. Play a character that I'm not as good with, because I feel like I want to put myself. I like the, like when you're on the same level is like where I find the game to be the most fun. Like if I'm winning all the time, it's like doesn't feel like, you know, a challenge or anything. Not to like diss on the people that I'm beating. I mean, I already did, but too late now. But you know what I mean? Like, like I don't have fun while winning, and I want them to have fun, because like losing all the time isn't fun either. You know, no matter how you look at it, you always go, well, I didn't really win. I was just getting knocked around. I didn't really learn how to play a character or anything. Like, what I would probably do is like, oh, I know a character that's easier to learn. I'll recommend that character to them. I'll play a character that I suck as, or something like that. And then, I don't know, you can always go into Smash Bros. And like the settings and change, you know, individual characters and say, like, oh, this person's a little...
You can do handicaps, right?
Yeah. So like, there's all kinds of things that you could do that I feel like would make it more fair. And I think it'd actually be funnier if like I had like a huge handicap where like I would you know, I get
like one hit.
Yeah,
kills.
like wouldn't that be a lot more interesting if I was like trying to play you and you were like, oh, all I gotta do is hit him once, and I'm like, I have to hit him like the same way I always do. Like I would be dominating, but now there's the scare of like one hit could instantly kill. You know, like for me that's a little bit more fun. So.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't really know too many about fighting games. Like I said, I don't really pick them up, but the new Mortal Kombat I heard is really good. The Dragon Ball Z games are always really good from what I've seen, and the tag out concept in the newer ones, like that's really cool. I'm actually interested to see this because I know the characters, but I don't know their moves. Like I watched Dragon Ball Z growing up, and I'm not gonna lie, I still watch some of the episodes here and there. So I know what they're capable of doing, but the game is completely different from what they can actually do.
Yeah.
So, well, let's see.
I know exactly what you mean.
But I kind of wanted to go on to the next topic, more or less, of the fact that Netflix is launching the TV series of The Witcher. Did you see that by any chance?
What? No. I feel like I would have seen this pop up. How did I miss this? It's actually really dope.
Yeah, and they're actually, but they haven't released the trailer yet. They kind of just have pictures right now, so it's kind of like up for grabs. But it's an interesting concept, and it kind of brings me on to the next point that I kind of want to bring up is I know that Netflix, there's a ton of things that are coming out with streaming and all that things, like they're trying to compete. You know, Disney's even doing their own thing. So I know that The Punisher, like Marvel got pulled from, or was getting pulled from Netflix. Disney movies will be pulled from Netflix at some point in time. I don't know to what extent, though. I don't know if it's completely all the Disney movies or just some of them. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that's
all of them.
I was thinking, but I don't want to
If I was Disney, I
misspeak
would
and then
evolve.
say
That's
that.
the thing. Like I'm trying to think. If I was
Yeah,
Disney, what would I
but
do?
yeah, but it would pave the way for so much more animation, in my opinion, because if Disney pulls all these movies from Netflix, I mean, what is Netflix going to turn to for animation? You know, the DreamWorks
DreamWorks,
maybe.
yeah.
But I mean, like, there's so many other streaming, I guess,
Services.
services. Thank you, out there. I just can't imagine DreamWorks like tapping into all those markets at the same time and producing a quality product. But
Yeah, I think that's actually a good, interesting point. Like they're all trying to realize, like, hey, Netflix is making so much money. I know people always say that like Netflix is actually losing money every year, but if you think about it, it's like there's like they're going into like debt, but there's also good debt and bad debt. Like, so they're kind of like in the good debt where they know that they put all this money in and they're gonna make a lot more money out of it as opposed to putting money in and then they're like, so like, like you can buy a car and the value depreciates over time, but then you could buy, a house and then the value of the house goes up. That's like a good debt where you bought it and then now you can sell it and you can make the money or something like that. I mean, sometimes the car's value goes up depending on what car you buy, but it's like, I guess that for example. But I think like a lot of companies are a lot of companies kind of see Netflix making a lot of money, and they're like you said, like Disney's like, we have this huge library of movies that we just given out to like Netflix and other streaming services without really thinking that we would make, like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess like whoever made that decision probably didn't even think that this was going to be like a profitable thing. Like, oh yeah, it'll be like a couple kids out there will download our Disney movies and stream it on Netflix or something, and then Netflix blows up and they're like, whoa, like,
oh, man.
Everyone's watching our movies on Netflix. Like, no one's buying our stuff, because like they always have like those what is it, like the Disney Vault or something like that, where like only every couple of years they release like the actual thing for you to buy, and it's like they're kind of like, no one cares anymore. Like, I bet you that's what happened. They released like their next Vault or something, and then like literally no one was buying it because they're like, I'll just watch it on Netflix or something.
Yeah, but I mean, think Netflix is also increasing the prices. I don't know if you saw that.
Again,
they were talking about they keep on doing it,
it's
but
up at 12.
I think it's 13 is what I pay. Something I don't know, something like that. $13. I don't really pay attention because it's not there yet. But like, it's starting to get up to the $15 range. I know they're like increasing by like $1 and something, I think, or somewhere in that price. I know they're increasing their prices in the next couple months.
I've never paid for Netflix though,
but
so I'm one of those people.
You borrowed them off of yeah.
One of those people. I don't really watch too much on Netflix though, so I'm like okay with like one or two movies, like maybe in a year, possibly, like on my own. Like usually it's like somebody comes over, we're all watching a movie. I'll be like, anybody have Netflix? Because like I'm not gonna put log in and use a free trial. I've already wasted my free trial.
So I have Netflix, but I borrow someone else's Hulu. I'm not gonna lie. I've been watching A Handmaid's Tale. That show is really good.
I know you can get Hulu with Spotify Premium. Like if you have a Spotify Premium account, it automatically gives you Hulu. Did you know that?
Wait, what? No, I didn't.
Yeah, so if you're paying for,
I have Spotify Premium.
Yeah, so you actually, I don't know where you have to go.
Dang it.
But you can like go in and be like, redeem my Hulu like account. I didn't even know this because I went on Spotify one day and they were like, don't you want to use your Hulu? And I was like, what do you mean?
Wait, what? Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm actually shocked.
I like shrugged it off one day and then I was kind of like, wait a second, like Hulu for free. Like I could actually, like, there's a lot of good TV shows on there. So I like went back and kept trying to find it, and I couldn't find where this option was. But then one day it popped up again, and I hit it again, and I was actually able to get Hulu. Yeah. So I was like, that's why I don't need Netflix. So I'm like already paying for Spotify and Hulu, I guess.
You got free Hulu. Yeah. Well, I love Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is what I watch on there.
So you can just watch your Rick and Morty or Family Guy or something like that.
I don't really watch Family Guy.
I'm just trying to think what other shows are on there. Before. Like
I'm telling you, man, Handmaid's Tale is where it's at. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's really good.
Is that on Hulu? Should I watch it?
Yeah, the premise of it's really cool. I mean, it's like I'm still like learning because it doesn't tell you exactly what happened in the very beginning, but it like hints to the fact that like the United States government got overthrown and replaced by a different government, and they institute the belief of God again into the civilians. and basically each level of like, or each tier of people, or like their different social class, and they're like list by colors and stuff. It's really neat, and it's really good concept. Like Canada is, I guess the United States, you will, like, it's the land of the free now. Basically, it was what the United States was at one point in time, and they like tried to defect to Canada to escape the, like, I guess I don't know what religious rule is called technically, but like they try to escape that lifestyle, and that's where they try to go up to Canada. It's a neat concept. I like it, but that also kind of pays way into my next point, and I was talking about, or wanted to talk about, I should say, is the fact about streaming services for games. And it kind of brings the question, since Disney has tried to pull back all their movies from other things, I'm wondering if, like, say, the streaming services that are like Google Stadia and or like Sony eventually, and all the other ones that are supposed to. Yes. I wonder if they're going to be releasing stuff that's just specific for their streaming service. So I'm saying, if you do not have their monthly streaming service, you cannot get access to one specific or a couple specific games.
I actually think that they have to. Like, I think streaming services need to have that some kind of exclusive offer, something to make people want to choose them over someone else. Because, like, whenever you think, like, when you think about it, like, you're always trying to be like, oh, well, what do I want over this or the other? And if it's all the same price, you're just gonna be like, well, which one has more games, and or something like that. And like, if they all have the same overlap, and you're like, whatever, I'll just pick the one with the most games, or the one that's a better service for me, or something like that. So if, like, say Sony has, like, you know, exclusives, like if they have their own streaming service, I can imagine that they're like, you can only play our Sony games on our Sony streaming service, so that, like, people are like, well, which streaming service do I want now? Do I want the xCloud, or do I want Sony?
Yeah.
Or, you know, Google Stadia? So, like, I can see that they would have to have some kind of draw, because like, I mean, draw, like, as in something to entice their customers with, potential customers, because they need to market that.
Right.
Like, there need to be a bundle, like, say, like, for me, I would like to see, like, Microsoft xCloud, like, you get some kind of discount for, like, streaming through your Xbox, so that they can be like, buy an Xbox and have Microsoft xCloud, you get, like, the super bundle or Xbox Live. Like, I would think some kind of bundle there. Like, they need to do something to make, like, you know what I mean, like, dominate this. Like, why get Sony when I already have Xbox xCloud? You know, like, there's, like, that's what I think. Like,
and that's what I want to know, because like, obviously, in order for people to get their services, they want to provide some kind of, you know, content that you can't get anywhere else. Just like Disney's trying to do with their own brand of, you know, their own, I guess, animations and things like that. Just any kind of Disney movie they can find on their Disney streaming service. That's a fantastic idea, just because you know exactly where you got to go to get that stuff. And console gaming right now is pretty big. Obviously, I mean, like, you have, you know, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. That's fantastic and everything, but to have that draw, you gotta, like, right now, Xbox has, you know, Xbox exclusives. So does PlayStation. PlayStation has their own exclusives. But to get people to go to the streaming service, I'm wondering, though, if it's just going to be like just for that specific thing. And if they do that, like they're saying, like, you know, this game is only for the streaming service. You can play it on our systems, but you have to buy our streaming service first. That's what I'm hoping, because that'd be interesting. But I'm going to be honest, if I want to stream somewhere, if I want to go somewhere and play a game, I don't want to be out and about doing that. You know, I want to be actually at home on my console playing. That's where I feel the most comfortable, and I feel like I get the most value for my game, because I can actually pay attention to it.
There probably will be people who will, you know, do their phone. But like you said, like, if they have an Xbox at home and they have Microsoft xCloud, like, I can play the same games on my phone as I can at home. So I can see that. I see it, but I think it needs to be some kind of, like, some kind of bundle needs to come about. Like, look at this. We have Spotify and Hulu. Like, how awesome is that? You get a Spotify account and you get Hulu, and it's the same price. Like, you don't have to pay any more than what you already pay. And I would love to see something like that come up for, you know, one of these cloud streaming services where, like, hey,
Apple,
you know,
check out Apple. Maybe that could happen. No, you know, Apple has their own game service now. Yeah, but I know, but, like, think about it. I mean, their prices are going down with everything, just because they're not doing so hot in the market now. I mean, Apple products are down in general, and if they have this game streaming, like, they have a game service now, and they have all that Apple products.
Apple Arcade.
They have Apple Music, and exactly all that stuff. I wonder if they're going to try to bundle something together. Like buy Apple, Apple Arcade, get Apple Arcade, and then you get a free whatever 6-month subscription to Apple Music or something.
They really need to start like just
stepping up their game.
I know, like like it's just something like that. I could see it because like we even see this with Sony and Microsoft with Xbox and PlayStation, because we see year after year, I think for the past 5 years now, I think, like that's a conservative number, is that PlayStation has outsold the Xbox, and this is by like a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every Xbox sold, Sony is selling 2 PlayStations. So like they're making a lot more, and I think that's why I'm seeing like, like Xbox really needs to come out with some kind of bundle. Like, they need to start doing something, because like if there's a streaming service, more people are playing on their PlayStation, they're going to get the PlayStation streaming service, like, maybe it's the Play Cloud, or I don't know.
I was just wondering if they're going to come out with Microsoft is Microsoft. So I'm wondering if they're going to come out with something more comfortable for users to use when they do buy their streaming service. So like some kind of handheld device that's like better because like if you think about it, phones are tough to use out and about if you're really going to get into the hardcore games.
I can see they had the Windows Phone for a while, but I think like it's I don't know if they dabbled in it and they kind of gave up, or like are they going to come back? I don't know. I don't think Xbox has ever been in the handheld game in like
honestly, I don't remember.
Like I know that they had the PlayStation Portable. But I've never seen anything with like a Microsoft handheld game like for Xbox.
Honestly, I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying. If they did, it probably failed incredibly hard, because I feel like I'm pretty aware of like every
not that I'm seeing
like console that comes out. I don't see anything with, because like every time Nintendo comes out with anything, I'm aware of it. PlayStation, PlayStation Portable. I remember seeing that. I remember being like, no, Game Boy's better than PlayStation Portable, and then like you see the screen, you're like, I mean, they actually have a pretty good, like you look at it, and you're like, okay, well, they have some good stuff there. They got some really good games that you can play that are, a lot better than I think what handheld I had at the time, which I think was a Game Boy SP. And then I got the Nintendo DS. DS Lite, I think was what I got. I don't know. I just think that I'm a Nintendo fanboy, so I followed that one more. So that's why I'm more like open to know, like, okay, I'm willing to believe that I missed the Xbox handheld because I was just a Nintendo kid.
I just looked it up and I didn't see anything about Microsoft ever producing a handheld. So I'm wondering if it would be even like viable or even smart to get into the market of handhelds just for streaming services, because it might be easier to pitch your idea of a streaming service, but like instead of, hey, you play on your phone or a tablet, because it's for a fact it's extremely tough to do that in general. Like a lot of people buy those extensions like for controllers that slide, like your phone slides into a controller basically, and you play like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see why Microsoft wouldn't come up with something to make it a lot easier for people to use. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe perhaps like an Xbox controller that connects to your phone via Bluetooth so you can play games. I think it's just going to be apps. Like I think a lot of these streaming services are just going to be an app on your phone. Like it seems a lot of them are probably given up on making any kind of new hardware. They're just like, all right, there's no point. Everyone has
use what's existing. So
I think that was even Nintendo was when they made that Mario Dash, I think it was like the first Nintendo mobile app, like actually made by Nintendo. I remember that was like the big thing where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, are they like finally like stepping outside the of their Nintendo world and trying to like put games on phones?" Because like that'd be like, because like they already have the market of like everybody loves playing Game Boy games. Like imagine if you could just play Pokemon, not Pokemon Go, but like Pokemon Red, Blue, whatever color or version you wanted to play. Imagine you could play it on your phone, because like a lot of those games you can. Like I know for sure there's like emulators people like have made where you can download it and play it on your phone. So like I would love to see that kind of Pokemon game on your phone.
But it actually kind of segues, and I'm not really going into a segue, but we talked about Harry Potter Wizards Unite. We said we were going to play that game. We did. And I want to get your first initial thoughts on it because you were talking about Pokemon, and I know you said a while back on the last podcast that it kind of reminded you of Pokemon Go. Does that still stay true?
So I played the game. I wanted to kind of dive in. I played it for about a week, so I don't know like the true what all it has to offer after a week of gameplay, but I kind of felt it was very similar to Pokemon Go, just in the fact that I think I am at a little bit of a disadvantage because I don't live near very many like Pokestops or like, you know, the things that you can. So like that was kind of my like going into it. I was like, I already know that it's going to be hard for me to go and like to these greenhouses and stuff and collect all these items and stuff. I think I liked it better than Pokemon Go actually, just in the fact that I liked that every interaction was different. It wasn't always just throwing a Pokeball. There was always like a new spell to catch. Like it was at least different every time. It wasn't always like, okay, let me just throw the Pokeball every single. You know what I mean? Like there is like some like instead it's like, oh, let's cast this spell, let's do this, let's do that. And like it's a different visual with a different kind of capture, you know, spell or you know, destroying or whatever comes up, which I think was actually interesting that it wasn't always, you know, the same thing. So. Because I think that's what made the Pokemon games so fun is that you could battle and like try to like, okay, well, I need to like battle this Pokemon to attack me, and then like Pokemon Go is just like, all right, I'm gonna throw the Pokeball. Oh, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna throw another Pokeball. Like I don't know. So I liked it better, but I think it has the same problems for me where I don't live in an area where there's a lot of, you know, stops. But I think even with that, I think the game. I think it was just after a while, I don't have very many friends that play, you know, besides you. So I kind of ran into the problem where I didn't have much, you know, I felt like I kind of wanted to play when I wanted to play more and there wasn't as much more for it to offer. There was like the paywall barrier where I flat out refused to pay for anything in this game because I wanted to get like the average user experience. I didn't want to like skew my opinion by just, you know, downloading a bunch of stuff by buying it, you know. What about you?
I know this is probably gonna be a really unpopular opinion, but I too was at a disadvantage because I wasn't anywhere near like inns, and the only way that I know of, and I looked it up, to get energy to cast spells is for you to stay at an inn or to get it on a daily challenge, and you only get 10. And I'm not gonna lie, I blew through my energy like hotcakes. I was just going through them real fast, like catching anything I possibly can, because where I work, there's just like a ton of things I can capture. Like it's always around me constantly. And there's a greenhouse pretty close. So I'd maybe shoot over there after work and take a look at it and go in the greenhouse and do some dealings and stuff like that. Try to get some potions brewed and things like that. But I didn't find it like, it was very painful to see the energy go away so quickly. Because obviously all the spells you don't cast, like they don't always work. So you have to keep on casting it until it works. Because I draw with my finger terribly. And a lot of my casts at first were like fair. So like I would not really do anything with the casts. Like they would just bounce right off basically and they wouldn't work. So it was really frustrating at first. But I started to get the idea behind drawing and the patterns and things like that. And I started to get better, but still going through my energy. I didn't get any energy back, and then the only way you can get them through is really ends and things like that, or you can pay for them, which is obviously the easiest way to get energy. And it's just frustrating for me. It was, at least, because I noticed that this game really gears towards pushing money. So like I ran out of energy, they're like, pay for more energy. All right, well, that's fine. I won't. I'll just, I'll make some potions. And they're like, oh, you try to pick up this like item or ingredient for a potion later on, you ran out of space. Buy more space in the vault, or even like your seeds and stuff are growing.
Everything
ingredients
you had to pay for with gold, not galleons. I was like, come on, this is a Harry Potter game. Get your currency correct. Like,
yeah, I know. That's a great point. But no, it just like was frustrating because I honestly didn't know the value of gold in this game because I didn't know that energy doesn't just automatically regenerate. I thought you didn't play for a day and then you come back and then in there you get some energy. I just assumed that was going to happen, but it didn't. And I realized really quickly that gold is very valuable, and it didn't it didn't work to my because I spent it on something. I don't even remember what. It was something ridiculous.
Oh, you were just
like
kind
it
of like, cool,
wasn't
I have
even
a lot
worth
of
the
gold.
gold.
Let me just buy this real quick.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Because like I went through done daily challenges and done did a whole bunch of like challenges in general. And I thought that was cool. They did a skill tree there was like what was it, professor, and I don't remember the other two because I did professor, but it was pretty neat because I like the idea that you can specialize with your wizardry skills. I thought it was pretty cool, but and I also found myself using like they have like almost like a Snapchat filter. Do you make a profile? So like you get to put on what is the wizard like wardrobes and stuff, like hats, glasses. They have a scarf basically for each house. So like Ravenclaw, and I was just like messing around with them for a while. I'm not even gonna lie, I was making ridiculous faces and posing with them like Snapchat. It was a fun time, but overall, if you don't move around and spend a lot of time going to specific places like inns and stuff, it's very tough to get this game to work for you specifically unless you want to spend money, is my honest opinion.
Yeah,
So,
and I think, like you said, you had to like, if you don't live in an area where you have a lot of like, inns and greenhouse, like all that stuff, like you kind of have to like make it a part of your like daily routine or something to like, oh, let's go stop by the city real quick, or like let's go stop by the square, hit up all the different stops, and then like that's what I would do when I played Pokemon Go, and then it became more of like a, oh well, it's not like close, like I have to go out there, and it's like, I know that sounds like a millennial thing to say where you're like, oh, I have to go out of my house and do stuff like
God forbid.
But it is kind of like a thing when it gets cold. You're like, well, I don't want to like go out and walk around the square and everything. That's
the question I have is,
playing Pokemon Go.
When you threw Pokeballs, was it how was that? Because I never played Pokemon Go. So what's the equivalent to energy in Pokemon Go? Is it Pokeballs, like Pokeballs in general, or
you would go to Pokestops, and every time you would go to one, you'd get like, I don't know, 2 or 3 Pokeballs or something like that. I can't remember the number.
Were they frequent or no?
Oh, you had to like wait like every 5 minutes. But yeah, like you could eventually get more. And then you would have the Pokeballs, and you could every time you ran into a Pokemon, you would throw a Pokeball, and that was you could never get it back once you threw it, even if you missed or caught it. It was just like that Pokeball was over.
I'm just saying the Pokestops, the Pokestops, are they like close, like a lot of them in a close proximity, or are they just like scattered very far apart?
I guess it depends on where you're at. Where I used to work when it was Pokemon Go, we would have like the daily walk at lunch, and that's how I kept playing the game, because it was so easy to just like go for a walk, hit up every single stop all the way along the walk, and it was cool to play with coworkers. But then of course it got cold, didn't really want to go outside anymore. I want to be a warm boy in the house or in the company, but so that's kind of why I stopped playing. And then it just I think that's the one problem, I guess, like it's a very weather dependent game, so like the player base does die off, and then by the time the weather's great again, I've already moved on to something else with my time, you know. So I can kind of see this happening with Wizards Unite. I can imagine that in the spring a lot of the player base will have dropped off. I did want to bring up that I looked up the number of downloads so it's Niantic Games who made Ingress, and then they made Pokemon Go, and then that's Wizards Unite. So they have those 3 games. So Ingress has 10 million downloads. Pokemon Go had over 100 million downloads. So do you want to guess how many downloads you think Wizards Unite has?
Oh, so goodness. I would say
100 million. So 10 million and 100 million.
I'd say 50 million for Wizards Unite.
Actually, you're wrong by a factor of 10. It was only 5 million downloads as of today.
Really? Okay. I was expecting a far shot, because I figured, the people that are in love with the whole Harry Potter franchise, so I just assumed that they would back up and take on, and they'd love to play this game, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, I was just a little surprised that like even the main game is like Ingress. Like I remember I heard about it, I downloaded it once just because like one of my coworkers. It's always my coworkers every single time. I'm sure everyone else can relate. You always, I guess you hang out with your coworkers enough that you have to like, you talk with them about video games if they like video games, and This is back when I worked I was working, a part-time job, when I was in high school, when I found out about Ingress. And I remember the guy, he was just like, dude, this game is so cool. Like, you've got to join, man. And I was like, okay. And I played like one day, but I think it's funny that I guess it's been around for a long time though. So I guess 10 million downloads over its entire lifespan is still a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just find it interesting that I would think that there was a lot more Harry Potter fans out there than that would have jumped into this game, because you and I were both kind of interested about it, and I think the only reason we really jumped into it is really because we wanted to give something for the podcast. Okay, let's get our own opinion on it, see if it's something that we like playing. So I think other than that, I probably wouldn't have downloaded the game.
Yeah, I don't think I would have either. It's just not my style of game. If I play a game, I want to be immersed in it, and I don't want to have to move all over the place to get what I want. It's just very money dependent if you don't move. So it was very.
Yeah, and I think the amount of I think there's a lot more to do in Wizards Unite, I guess. I mean, I haven't played back with Pokemon Go, but I do know that was one of the main downfalls, is that it was a huge success, Pokemon Go, and a lot of people who didn't even play Pokemon ever downloaded this game and played it. And I think because they had such a obviously they weren't expecting that many people to download it, but I just think it's interesting they didn't have a lot of things to do. I think a lot of people, when they think when you play a mobile game, it's to pass the time. And I think because there was too many things you brought up, oh, I can't do anything because I don't have enough, gold, or I gotta wait for energy. You can't do anything when you open this app. That's defeats the whole point of a mobile game, in my opinion. Where if you can't do anything when you open this game up, and you're oh well,
for the majority of it,
I feel then you've kind of defeated the purpose of a mobile game. It's supposed to be the thing that passes the time. And if they're not going to open, oh well, let me just open up Angry Birds or something, because that game will have something to offer for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of think that they kind of they need a lot more in the game. I think it's
Agreed. Yeah. I think that it just needs a little bit of improvement. Just I think there need more inns, in my opinion, because I'd just go between I walk around my neighborhood. I walk my dog all the time, but there's no inns even close to anywhere where I live. So I can walk far, and I bring my phone, but there's no inns whatsoever. So I would luck out there, and then I'd only go from Mondays through Friday. I would go from my house to work and work to home. And there's no inns anywhere near where I work or where I'm at home.
To me,
so
they need to have an inn at your house. Give yourself a home location and then create an inn there. Then you would always at least be okay, at least they have something. And it would even make sense in the game to be oh, let me stay at this inn, which is my house. Or instead of an inn, make it your house, where you can just kind of go back and recharge. So
at least get something.
Yeah, so if you want to just sit at your house and play this game, you get something out of it. I know that it might defeat the purpose of the whole map and everything, but I think there's definitely days where you don't get out and you're well,
I don't think it would, though, because you think about it, you have to go out and catch things in new areas, bring new creatures. So I mean, you'd have to go out anyway. Having an inn at your house would give you the ability to be okay, well, now I have energy to go out and go hunt these creatures. Let me go out and actually do that. And I think that they would want you to do that, but I think they want money more than they want, anything else. So obviously, but
yeah, it sounds like they want money more than a good game,
a good quality game. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I just hope that they improve it somewhat. I mean, it's kind of a little too late now because I've already played it and I'm probably never gonna pick it back up. I'm already looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077. So,
as am I, man. I'm so pumped for that game.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the Rad Gaming Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate and subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever else you listen to podcasts. We release a new episode every Wednesday and Friday. And as always, stay rad, comrades.